Hello. Ow, that hurt. I've been working out and I did shoulders yesterday and I'm really feeling it. Hey everybody, it's Tristan and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I am here with a Sonic drink, not sponsored, just letting you know that is why my mouth is blue. And I think it's making my teeth look extra yellow. I mean, you know, like I'm a normal person and my teeth are not perfectly white, but for some reason, I feel like the blue might make them look more yellow than they actually are. But you know what, that's life. We all cannot be perfect or afford fake teeth. But if you can, congratulations. But I like mine, it's all good. I'm rambling. But anyways guys, today I am here bringing you guys another video, and today we are going to be reviewing the Blue Honey eyeshadow palette from Kylie Cosmetics. And guys, when I saw this, I about died because this color scheme, look at that. I have not touched it yet. It is just so beautiful. This is everything to me. I'm a sucker for blues, especially like shimmery blues, like this one right here. This one has like gold reflex. It's kind of like a greeny blue. I don't know, I'm dropping things. And this is the packaging that it came in, and I love the background of this. Like, look, it has reflective honeycombs in there. I die, come on. This is great. So yeah, we're gonna be reviewing this today, and I'm also going to compare this to another eyeshadow palette that has similar colors in it. I'll explain the whole background as to why I'm doing that here in a second, but yeah, let's get right into the review. And also I picked up a couple of Kylie's new velvet lipsticks from the launch, the same one as this palette, and I got these shades Shook and Heat. So I'll try one of those on at the end as well, but I know I already love her velvets. I'm just letting you know that I bought these two. And the new packaging with the velvet Kylie on here, come on, yes. I feel like this blue is going to annoy a lot of people, sorry. But yeah guys, today I have the Blue Honey eyeshadow palette from Kylie Cosmetics, and this is actually the fourth 9-pan eyeshadow palette that she has put out. She has a bronze one and a burgundy one, which I don't have, but I really, really want, especially that burgundy one. Like, I'm gonna get it, just hold on a second. And she also has the purple palette, which I love. Like, this was one that I really, really enjoyed. So this is the fourth installment, and I will say right away, the colors in this, I love. Just from viewing it, I'm in love with it, but the packaging is somewhat of a letdown. Now, like the packaging, like the outer packaging is stellar, but in terms of the actual palette, it's kind of less to me in a way. So like the front, oh, that's upside down. Now the front is the same, except for like the drops, they change color with every eyeshadow palette, which I think is a really cool detail. But one thing that is different that I don't like about the Blue Honey is that it does not have a mirror. Now it is $4 cheaper than the other 9-pan palette, so it might be for that reason, like no mirror equals less money, but honestly I would have paid the $4 for a mirror because the purple palette has a mirror and I use the mirror. I really like it, especially like if you're just holding it like this and you're just using this palette, it's extremely handy. So that's kind of annoying to me. I would have liked a mirror. Also, with the purple palette, the shades and everything is printed on the back, and with the Blue Honey, it's a sticker now for some reason. I'm just like, it's kind of like they went down in quality in a way, but only in terms of like those things with packaging. So I don't know what the reasons were behind it. I really do not, but it is what it is. It's not the end of the world. It's just a little something that I wanted to note. But anyways, guys, regarding this palette today, the day that this was launching, I was debating on whether or not I wanted to buy it because I knew I loved the colors, but I just didn't know if I wanted to spend the money on it. But I went on Twitter and everyone was throwing a bitch fit. That's kind of exaggerating, but they were kind of coming for Kylie because apparently the colors in the Blue Honey palette resemble a certain very popular palette, not the whole thing, but a lot of shades in it, and that is the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe palette. And how I saw this was Jaclyn Hill actually responded to it on Twitter, like she had said something about it, and she basically said like it's bound to happen, like there's only so many colors that you can make, some are bound to look similar, which is fair. But what somebody did was that they took the Jaclyn Hill palette, like the online images, and they took those shades and they put it in the same kind of display as the Kylie palette. Like they photoshopped similar shades from the Jaclyn palette into the same order as this one, and when you look at it that way, they look very similar. And I'll go ahead and insert the picture right now so you can see what I'm talking about. I'll put it right here. Yeah, so that's what I'm referring to, and I will say those shades they're similar. So a couple nights ago, I actually took it upon myself to go in with this little cheat sheet right here for the Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette that shows all the shade names, and I went through them and I went to her palette and I found all the shades that I believe that they were referring to. I haven't looked at that picture in a hot minute as of when I'm recording this, so the shade names might already be on there. If they are, then whatever, but this is what I did. I went in here and I found the colors that correspond with this and I put it in my notes so I can swatch them all for you side by side so we can compare the colors. I hope I'm making sense right now and just not rambling. Basically, I'm gonna compare the colors in this palette to this palette and see if they really are similar. I just spit all over the place. I don't know if you saw that. If you did, I'm sorry. Wow, I'm a mess today. Like, y'all, I didn't even do a full face of makeup. I did brows, concealer, and some foundation. Like, I know I'm doing an eye look and usually people do like a full face for this stuff, but your bitch is tired and it's just not a thing that can happen right now in this moment. So first what I'm going to do is go in with this palette and do like swatch this color, put it on my arm, then go into the Jaclyn palette, swatch the color that I believe looks similar to it, put it right next to it, and then we'll do a little rundown. And then I'll do an eye look with this palette to see how it wears and how it looks and all that good stuff. So just give me a second and I'll go ahead and do all the swatches off camera just to save myself some time. And yeah, I'll be right back. And also before I do the swatches, I do want to say that I am aware that Manny MUA did a similar video to this. He compared the Kylie palette to a ColourPop palette, and I will say that I did not get this idea from him. I had this idea before he posted his video, but I just want to like put that out there that he has one too if you want to go check that out. I didn't steal it from him. So I know you guys know it exists. I don't want you guys to think that I stole his idea. Like, I didn't know he was going to post that. So I'm not stealing anyone's ideas here. I'm just saying he has one. Go check it out. But it's a different palette comparison, so yeah. Alrighty guys, and here are both of the palettes swatched on my arm. So first off, we're gonna start on this side, and first off we have the Kylie palette, and this is in the shade Raw. And then we have the Jaclyn palette right here, and this is in the shade in Light. Now these are both very pale colors. The only difference is that this is a matte and this is a shimmer. So in the pan, they're kind of similar colors, but they have different colors when they're swatched, and they are different finishes. So in terms of comparison, you will not get a dupe for this color in the Jaclyn palette. Alrighty, and then next up we have the Kylie palette, and this is in the shade Buzz Off. And then we have the Jaclyn palette, and this is in the shade Obsessed. Now these are both kind of dark champagne-y shimmers. Both are beautiful, but the only difference is that the Kylie one is a bit more dark and Jaclyn's is lighter, but they are still very similar in color. Then we have the shades Sweet Like Honey from the Kylie palette and the shade Creamsicle from the Jaclyn palette. Now the only difference between these two is that the one from Kylie is a bit more orange than the Jaclyn one. The Jaclyn one is more yellow, but both very nice and very pigmented matte shades. Then we're on to the gold shimmers in both palettes. This is the shade Bumble from Kylie's palette, and this is the shade Queen from Jaclyn's palette. These two colors are very different. They're both golds, but Kylie's gold is a bit more of a yellow gold, and Jaclyn's is more of a true gold. And now we're on to the matte kind of greeny blue of the palette. Now I do have 3 swatched here, because in all honesty, there wasn't really an exact match for this blue one right here from Kylie. This one is called Blue Honey, and then we have these shades Jada and Enchanted from Kylie's palette. Now I do kind of think if you were to mix these two colors together from Jaclyn's, this is the color that you would end up with. So there is not an exact match for this color in Jaclyn's palette at all, but these two would be the ones that I think that you'd put together to achieve this color. And now we're on to probably my favorite shades in both palettes, the freaking shimmer blues. I am obsessed with blues, especially if they're sparkly. So right here we have the shade Royal Jelly, and then we have the shade Pool Party. These two are both blue based with gold shimmers, but Kylie's is a much darker blue and Jaclyn's is a lot lighter. So they are kind of similar, but not at the same time. Then we're moving over here, and right here we have Kylie's palette, and this is in the shade Busy Bee, and then we have Jaclyn's palette in the shade Butter. Now these are both very beautiful kind of matte transition shades, but Kylie's is more red and this one is more kind of brown, and this one's a lot more red, so they're not really similar at all, but this one is kind of the closest that I could find to match them. Now moving on to these shimmers right here, and these two are probably the most similar in the palettes in my opinion. This one right here is called Sweet Thing, and this one right here is called Firework. This one is from Kylie's, this one is from Jaclyn's. They are both kind of these really nice reddy bronze kind of shimmers. They look very, very similar. I think Jaclyn's might be a tad more red and darker. This one's a bit more bronze and shimmery, but I don't know guys. Like, I think this one is a little bit more shimmery, but they are so freaking similar. And lastly, we have the darkest mattes of the palettes, and this one is the shade Honeymoon from Kylie's, and this one is the shade Buns. Both very dark and very nice brown shades. This one is a bit lighter than Jaclyn's, but they are pretty damn similar, but this one is darker. Alrighty guys, so that was all the colors swatched on my arms right here. Now overall, I will say that there are a lot of similarities with these palettes in terms of these colors right here, but I don't think Kylie was like trying to copy Jaclyn or steal ideas from her. Like, the overall themes of these two palettes are very, very different, so I don't think that Kylie was trying to like steal things from Jaclyn at all, like some people like to think. I do just kind of think that it's a coincidence, because honestly, Jaclyn has a lot of colors in this palette. Like, there are endless amounts of looks that you can make with hers, so I do just kind of think that it's a coincidence that Kylie created a palette with a color scheme that could be achieved with Jaclyn's palette. But in terms of quality, I don't know how this one wears on the eyes yet, but I will say that all the swatches are beautiful. Now, knowing what I know in terms of these swatches, do I think you need this palette if you have Jaclyn's palette? Not necessarily. Honestly, with Jaclyn's palette, I think that you can achieve very, very similar looks. They're not going to be exact, but they're going to be similar similar enough to where you don't need to spend another $38 if you already have this one. Because this one right here is also $38. So honestly, if I had to pick between the two, I would say just go for this one because they are the same price, but this one just has so much more. Like, this is how much you get. So you get a lot more for your money. But if you already have Jaclyn's palette and you still just really want this one, or if you're like an extreme Kylie fan and you're just gonna buy everything that she puts out because you love it, like, which is totally fine because I kind of tend to do the same stuff sometimes. Do I think this is a good palette for you to get? Absolutely. Like, I love the color scheme of this. This is beautiful. I love it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to do a quick little eye look using this palette, and then I'll tell you like if it's really worth the money, like if it applies well in the eyes. But knowing what I know now in terms of everything that we just did, I do think that the Kylie palette is not needed if you have Jaclyn's, but it's still a really good buy if you decide to pick it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and scrub off these swatches real quick and we'll get right into the tutorial. Alrighty guys, so first off what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into the Kylie palette, obviously, that's what we're reviewing right now. But I'm gonna go into this first shade right here called Raw. And I'm just gonna get some of that on my brush, and I'm just gonna kind of put that all over my eye. I just like stabbed myself. I don't know if you just saw that. Alrighty, and then I'm gonna go into this beautiful yellow shade right here called Sweet Like Honey. And I'm gonna be using the purple palette mirror for this, but I'm gonna take that yellow and I'm gonna pop that in my crease and blend that out. Alrighty, so right away, I will say that this shade has a lot of pigment and it is blending out so nicely. I am so far thoroughly enjoying this. And I also just really love this color. Like, I love this whole palette color concept. Like, it just really speaks to me. It speaks to my soul. Oh my gosh, this is so freaking gorgeous. Like, this is gonna be such a bomb palette for spring. Like, this thing, I'm gonna be using this literally all the time. As long as the rest of the shadows are just as good as this one, because so far, I'm impressed. Like, for real. Alrighty, next, I'm gonna go back into the palette and I'm gonna go in with the shade right here called Busy Bee. And I'm just gonna take a little bit of that and put that below the yellow and blend them into each other. I keep like almost wanting to dive into the purple palette because it's just like right here convenient, but I keep forgetting that this is not the palette that I'm reviewing right now. Wow, this is so freaking pretty. Yes. Then next what I'll be doing is going to the Kylie palette and going in with this shade right here called Honeymoon. And I'll just be taking that and popping that on the outer corner of my lower lash line and on the outer corner of my lid as well. Just kind of like this little V area. Then I'm gonna go in with the shade Busy Bee and just put that all over my lower lash line. And then I'm just going to blend all of those colors into each other. Alrighty, there we go. Looking beautiful. Alrighty guys, and then for my lid today, I'm definitely gonna dive into this blue shade right here called Royal Jelly. You know I have to, like, it'd be sinful for me not to. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take that color, and should I use some of this gold one right here too? I'm thinking probably. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take this shade Royal Jelly, and I'm just going to take that on my finger, and I'm gonna pop that on the more inner part of my lid. And then once that blue is down, I'm gonna go into the Kylie palette, and I'm gonna go in with this beautiful reflective gold shade right here called Bumble. And I'm just gonna get that on my finger, and I'm going to pop that on the outer part of my lid. And then I'll be taking this brush and I'm just gonna blend those two colors together. Alrighty guys, so I finished off my eyes real quick. I put on some mascara and I also put on some lipsticks, and I used the shade Shook. Out of the two velvets that I bought, I think it looks beautiful, super comfortable, super opaque. I'm in love with it. And guys, the eyes, I love this look. It's so wearable, even with the blue on there. It just seems so beautiful and wearable, and I just really, really like it. The shadows blended beautifully. I am extremely impressed. Not really surprised, but still impressed. So I guess I'll go ahead and give you guys my final thoughts on the Kylie Cosmetics Blue Honey palette. So in terms of packaging for this palette, I think it's amazing. I think the honeycomb design inside is really cute. Awesome idea. Packaging is awesome. Only thing that I wish was different was that this was not a sticker and that it had a mirror, but that's really the only thing in terms of packaging that I would change. Now in terms of the eyeshadow palette itself, guys, this palette is so freaking good. The color scheme is amazing. I am literally in love with it. I think it's so freaking awesome. Like, I don't know, just this kind of thing, this whole thing going on right here, it really speaks to me, and I feel like I could get a lot of use out of this. So I'm really happy that I purchased it. I really, really like it. This one, definitely approved by me. I freaking love it. Also, the lipsticks are a hit, of course. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I have for you. I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like and a comment and all that good stuff. Also, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on my post notifications so you can be notified every time that I release a new video. But yeah, guys, that's all I have for you, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.